Given the updated degradation and strike target numbers you laid out, how close would you say we are towards achieving the president's objectives, and what is the end game of the operation without divulging any sensitive battle plans?
Well, we wouldn't want to set a definitive time frame on that, but as we've said, we're on plan. It will be at the president's choosing, ultimately, where we say, hey, we've achieved what we need to on behalf of the American people to ensure our security. So no time set on that, but we're very much on track.
You know, George W. Bush was a war criminal. There's no question about it. His administration was full to the brim with war criminals and neocons, the types of politicians and political figures that we here at the Young Turks really don't like. However, Trump is worse. The Trump administration is worse because they add incompetence and unlikability to the mix. What do I mean by that? Dick Cheney was very unlikable. George W. Bush was dumb and incompetent, but there was something endearing about him, right? And he was funny, unintentionally funny.
Yeah, he would say things like, the trick is to keep expectations low.
And he did. He understood that trick really well.
Yeah, and our expectations were really low, and at least it was self-effacing.
Totally, right? He was very self-deprecating at times.
Yeah, and so you had a sense that at least he knew he was a knucklehead. Whereas Trump is like, in a shocking turn of events, significantly dumber than George W. Bush, but he has no idea. And that's actually part and parcel of being that dumb. You just don't know. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect, where smart people don't know how smart they are. They think that they're average. And folks like Trump, who are like at the bottom of the barrel in IQ, since they're that dumb, they have no idea, and they think they're geniuses. So, and that's why there's nothing endearing about him at all. He oozes like everything that's contemptible, in my opinion.
You know, somebody came up to me the other day and said, "Where's Mandela?" I said, "Mandela's dead. Saddam killed all the Mandelas." By the way, this is before Mandela was dead. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right.
Mandela had to put out a statement saying, "No, I'm not dead.
I'm very much alive still." Okay. Anyway, let's get back to modern times. So Hegseth also used dead US troops as a shield against any legitimate criticism of the Iran war. This part of the press conference for me personally was the most infuriating. Anyway, take a look.
My 13-year-old son popped into my office last night while I was editing these remarks. He asked about the war and the families I met at Dover. And I looked at him and I said, "They died for you, son, so that your generation doesn't have to deal with a nuclear Iran. The Middle East, our ungrateful allies in Europe, even segments of our own press should be saying one thing to President Trump: thank you. Thank you for the courage to stop this terror state from holding the world hostage with missiles while building or attempting to build a nuclear bomb. Thank you for doing the work of the free world."
There's a video going viral online showing the coffin of one of the fallen soldiers arriving in the United States, and the soldiers' family members go around the coffin. I didn't want to pull the video because it makes me emotional and I don't want to cry on the show. So when you see a video like that and you think about the pain that soldier's family members are going through right now, and then you hear the kinds of statements being made by our Secretary of War during these press conferences, I don't know how it doesn't make Americans angry. Using fallen soldiers as pawns like that, it really disgusts me.
Yeah, I saw a meme online today of Netanyahu's son partying, and it says Netanyahu's son, and then it's got coffins covered in American flags and says your son. So that's because Israel won't send in ground troops. They need us to be the meat grinder for them. And so we're gonna send our guys to go die for them. And now we have to pay $200 billion for them. Meanwhile, everyone in our media lies and says, "Oh, Israel, that is a very small part of this. If you say that's a large part of our consideration, you should be fired from your job and never allowed to speak in public again because you're a terrible anti-Semite." No, you guys are the sickest liars there is. Every national political reporter is a piece of crap that covers for Israel nonstop, never gives you the truth. But it's not just Israel, they cover for all the donors. They're giant liars and propagandists. Anyways, back to Pete Hegseth. He says, son, this is for you. Now remember, all of our money comes from Israel. And since I sold out this country, those dead bodies are to pay for your tuition and your house and your next house because of all how corrupt we all are in the Trump administration. All of us have taken tremendous amount of money from Israel. Now, in Hegseth's case, I don't even know how he took it with the politicians like Marco Rubio. At a bare minimum, he's taking $6 million in campaign contributions. Hegseth wrote in his book that America should work with the IDF and the IDF soldiers should be in American streets. So I don't know what his connection to Israel is, but it is significant because that is a mental thing to say. The only way you say that is if you work for Israel. Lastly, look, people are gonna look back at this and mainly the right wing, because the left wing already knows about this guy and the independents are now very clear. They loathe this war and the polling indicates that, right? But it's gonna be the right wing that feels the most betrayed. And they're gonna think that this Hegseth guy is one of the very worst. As he sits there and minimizes the American casualties and keeps covering for a different country while he's pretending to be our Secretary of Defense.
But on top of that, Cenk, I mean, everything you just listed is bad enough. His boastful nature when it comes to inflicting pain, destruction, death on a population of people, it's just, honestly, it's unprecedented when it comes to, the Secretary of State / Secretary of War, historically speaking.
Defense.
I'm sorry, yes, defense, my bad. Secretary of Defense. It's just, it's not a good, I mean, is that how Americans want to be represented?
Yeah, guys, just to be clear, because this is like reality warping stuff that they're doing. Normally, what America does is say, hey, listen, we don't want to go to war. Even if it's a just war, let's say the first Persian Gulf War, we just liberated Kuwait and we got out. We didn't go and invade any other countries. Whatever your feelings are about that war, even then we were like, we're so sorry that we have to do this, but we don't have a choice. And otherwise Saddam's gonna take Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, etc. And we really are brokenhearted about the people that are killed. That's how America used to be. Don't forget, Noble Mobile saving you a ton of money. So a lot of people are signing up now and beginning to realize, what the hell, why am I paying so much to Verizon and AT&T? So your bill's only $50 a month, but it can actually be less because they give you money back if you don't use your data. So if you're paying more than $50, there's no reason to not switch. It's crazy not to switch because same phone, same number, same contacts, literally nothing changes. TYT.com/switch, TYT.com/switch. All right, we'll be right back. Now we become Israelified. So the Israelis, and we've shown you quote after quote here, hundreds of quotes, come in and go, that's right, we brought death and destruction to Gaza, and now we're taking it for greater Israel and for God, because God wants us to have it. And now we're gonna go into Lebanon. We just gave you the quote just a day or two ago of one of their ministers saying, now we're gonna bring death and destruction to Lebanon.
To literally kill every single person. There shouldn't be a single human being moving around in the area.
So now Hegseth is talking like the Israeli government officials.
Yeah, and it's gross.
Death and destruction, wanton death. Who cares if we murder innocent civilians? There's 175 dead girls in an elementary school. No remorse, no nothing. America shows remorse if we accidentally hit a school. That's a terrible thing. Even Laura Ingraham said, for God's sake, show some remorse.
Show some remorse,
right?
Take accountability for it, apologize for it. 168 little girls. The total death toll was 175. We did that. Our country did that, okay? And when I say our country, I'm not talking about the people of our country. I'm talking about our government, our military. And it's just adding insult to injury when you don't take ownership of the mistake and apologize for it.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.